Hello everyone, today I'm going to be watching Defense Force 2 review by SsethTzeentach. Monoxide poisoning. No, I love that game. EDF for life. Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
Hey people. Seth here.
What's
I
up?
did my part. We all did our part, but it wasn't enough. It's been 3 years since we killed God, and we're still no closer.
What?
But it wasn't
What
enough.
are those
It's been
chibi
3
cheerleaders? What the fuck?
years since we killed
is
God,
awesome.
and we're still no closer to reclaiming our world. The aliens may be gone, but
Those
the
are
monsters
fraud,
they've
man.
left behind have made life all but impossible. The world is ruled by monsters. At this point, maybe we are the invaders, and they are the EDF
That is
now.
true.
Wait, what? What?
Yes. Yes,
What?
they probably are. What is going on here?
Invaders, and they are the EDF now. Wait, what? What? What?
the fuck is going on here?
The Earth Defense Force 6 begins now. This game has finally been released outside of the theocratic dictatorship known as Japan, where the personal computer is a heretical Japan.
What the fuck is this image? How is that? How is how is that a
Where the personal
dictatorship?
computer is a heretical relic, and releasing a good PC port is
Goddamn.
considered apostasy. Luckily, the developers aren't getting excommunicated, as this game, which is about 80% EDF5 by volume,
meant the gun was
somehow
going.
has a worse PC port. And despite not being an Epic exclusive, this
Oh,
game
no.
uses... And despite
This
not
is
being an
fucked up.
Epic exclusive, this game
Actually-
uses Epic online services for its multiplayer. Ah yes, let me just sign in with my Lego account.
But
You
it's
can't turn
shit.
this off. And every time you get an achievement, it locks your controls and you die. We are so back to the past, because that's where we're going. Now, you'd
Wait,
think the phrase
this is
EDF plus
EDF6.
time travel would be a good tone indicator for this experience, but you'd be wrong. Watching this game unfold is like giving a 20 to your local tweaker. After the gas station dick pills and 2 hits of Bang Energy kick in, it's impossible to predict his next move. And yet, it's strangely
There's no
captivating
way.
to watch him wrestle an
Especially
officer
last man.
while urinating with a full erection. Speaking of which, our sponsor. I need money for fentanyl.
That is disturbing.
Hey, gang, do you want to know why we're dealing with
Do
this
not
invasion?
urinate with an
Because
erection.
someone, you specifically, forgot to install ExpressVPN. That's right, Earth Defense Force is a metaphor for what happens when you browse the net without a VPN. Like ants
Or
to
an
a picnic,
antivirus.
your
Just
unsecured
bots,
connection
bots
attracts
everywhere.
all manner of unsavory
Or when I
characters,
make a
from your
mod.
ISP to scummy data brokers and government.
Bro, I made a bunch of mods for Baldur's Gate. It's like 4 downloads. It's just wasted 4 days.
glowies. Who knows what they want or
Oh
what
my
they'll
God.
do when they get it. If you're
Oh my God,
lucky, they'll
Chiara,
just sell
fuck
off your data
yes!
to the highest bidder.
How is Chiara
From
just
your
jumping
ISP
out of
to
nothing?
Scummy data brokers and government
Yes!
glowies.
Fuck yes!
Who knows
This is the
what
best.
they want or what they'll do when they get it. If you're lucky, they'll just sell off your data to
You
the
can't,
highest bidder.
bro. They're just why are you looking up the chibi skirt? She literally pulls up her skirt in her
And turn your
videos.
life into a living hell of targeted advertising. If you're unlucky, they'll establish a detailed record of every illicit detail of your personal life and
fucked.
use it
It's
against you to
I love it
ruin
that
your
there's
life.
toxic
That's right.
damage
You'll be
too
forced to
over there.
resort to making TikTok slop content just to get by. Thankfully, ExpressVPN stops all this and more by routing all of your internet traffic through a secure encrypted tunnel, allowing you to browse the internet.
Who's the fucking CIA motherfuckers that watching then? And look at this fuck. This watching my encrypted data. And why is the encrypted data of zeros and ones?
Anonymously, securely, and privately. Use it to stay safe anywhere, even
Used
on
to be 7,
unsecured
8,
public Wi-Fi.
like a dash.
Now that's what I call a
And
picnic.
so-
Personally,
all
I
of them.
use ExpressVPN to protect myself from my own landlord. At the moment, I have him fooled. He thinks I can barely make rent, but as the owner of my Wi-Fi network, he can see everything I do. If he sees what I
God,
purchase
get all of
online,
them.
he'll
To be fair,
jack
they're
up
all
my
the same.
rent. But with ExpressVPN, Wi-Fi owners...
Yes! Bob Sketch. Holy shit, he's on the Town Bridge after.
Can't see what you're up to on their
meeting.
network, making total
Dude.
privacy just one click away. Now, I can go about my normal business
Oh, yes.
and occasionally turn it off to Google things like what to do
Right,
if
Canada,
very poor,
Montreal.
how to make money for rent,
Connected
and
Germany,
is it
Netherlands
healthy to
is
eat
the best.
cement, just to throw him off a trail. ExpressVPN is
That
consistently
fucker.
rated the #1 VPN by CNET, The Verge, and tons of other tech reviewers. And unlike
Possibly.
me, they actually have a reputation. Find out how
But-
you can get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free by scanning the QR code on screen, clicking the link in the description box below, or by going to expressvpn.com.
Oh, yes! Holy shit, the fucking ass attack.
Innovates on the EDF format
awesome.
of reusing 90% of the last game by having you time travel back to literal copy-pasted EDF5 missions. The
So
entire
everything's
intro is a
copy-pasted.
highlight reel of brain rot from a previous title.
In these 5 months, humanity has lost 30% of its population.
30%.
Only 30.
That's still not too bad.
And since my mind
It's
has
very
blocked
bad.
out all EDF-related memories as a trauma response, it still hits just as hard. From a premise, you'd think we'd bring back some kind of super weapon or strategy.
Bro, if 30% of the population just dies, like 30% more will die by just the proximity, like what do you call it, the effects of the 30% that die. Because there's just so many industries are gonna get hit, so many like organizations are gonna get hit, so many government bodies are gonna get hit. Every part of society is gonna get slowed down to a halt, man.
Bring back some kind of super weapon or strategy.
Don't take
But
30%
remember,
of the
this is a
whole
universe where
population
everyone
to,
eats
like
glue,
this seriously, then-
including the aliens. What we've brought back is
Like
far
50,
more valuable.
Jesus Christ, 50 is a lot.
Advice such as shoot the glowing weak point. In the original timeline, this took the EDF months to figure out. Your guidance
Alright.
helps a little, but the aliens are sending new enemies
Holy
back in time
fuck.
as well. We're playing a game of quantum chess, but every little shoot the glowing weak point. In the original timeline, this took the EDF months to figure out. Your guidance helps a little, but the aliens
That looks cool as fuck, dude.
are sending new enemies back in time as well. We're playing a game of quantum chess, but every player is retarded. So, what's new? Not much. Welcome to
just
EDF.
died.
You get one new mechanic and quality of life features which should have been there
6.
from the start, like these new damage numbers. So now I can see I'm doing exactly 1 damage. The Ranger can now turn while sprinting. This took years of programming. Everyone gets a new backpack weapon slot, so now you can actually use all the stupid shit
It
that
might
would
be. It
otherwise
might be
cost
years of
you an
programming.
entire slot. Backpack
When you
weapons
change
also
something, so
reload
many things
passively,
breaks.
So now you don't have to hold it out for a real-life minute
Oh,
to
yes.
reload
Fuck
your
yeah,
turrets.
Dan.
This entire series is built out for a real-life minute to reload your
my
turrets.
God.
This entire series is built on breaking you down, to the point where I'm giving praise each time something gets marginally
What?
better. Wing Diver gets an infinite durability, spammable shield that blocks everything. Its intended purpose is to survive attacks and get some breathing room. Its actual
Jesus
purpose
Christ.
is to grief your teammaes. Playing Aerator causes a unique
What?
form of brain damage where all of your dopamine pathways remap to prioritize
What is that missile thing
Big Bomb
retarded?
at the cost of self-preservation. EDF5 tried to fix this by adding more limpet guns and a third weapon slot. EDF6 has given up completely. Now you have an entirely new category of drone strikes which can work underground or in a timeline where all of your artillery crews are dead. An offenser gets literally
What
nothing.
the
He's
fuck?
exactly the same. Just like 5, he goes from broke to broken.
Looks
from
strong
garbage
enough
can
already.
to Gundam that can solo the entire game. EDF's enemy designs take from the late Confucian philosophy of CBT maximalism, which falls into one of the following categories: instant death shotgun, instantaneous corporeal relocation, I can't see what the fuck is going on, I'm having an epileptic seizure, and the rarest category of all, actually good. If they have a gimmick, EDF will make damn sure you know about it.
Oh.
Aliens are armored! They're fully protected, clad in armor, head to toe. They're covered in armor. Where do we even aim?
These enemies have new gear. There are just a few heavily armored aliens.
For example, the
All
flying
right.
drones have a unique mechanic, the rules of which are described to you in excruciating detail. And what is it? When you shoot an enemy, they get mad. One of the simplest game mechanics that anyone, no matter how much their mother drank during
What?
pregnancy, can figure out on their own. In any other game, you would not need to drill this into the player, but this is EDF. I've spent the last 15 hours inhaling nitrous and holding left click. I'm grateful for this reminder, because with zero explanation, a new red
To be
zone
honest,
shows up.
they do
And
that
if you
too
aggro more
in
than
some
one at
other
a time,
games too, but
you're
just
already
explain
dead.
over explain and explain, explain. There is no mystique in the game at
That's
all.
supposed to be a decoy. In
That's
EDF5, they were useless because they had no health. In EDF 6,
Let's
very
kill
useless
that
because the
fucking
aliens
Nico. Oh,
won't
no,
fucking
God,
shoot
oh,
at them.
poor God.
EDF's network of radio gaslighters will keep you stocked up on genuinely dog
But
shit
that
advice.
motherfucker
At
had a
one point,
swastika on
android
his
suicide
fucking
bombers
forehead.
show up, and you're told to run away, hold your ground, shoot the bombs, don't shoot the bombs, and link up with Charlie. Charlie
Shoot
is
them
the key
more.
to all this. A terrifying new enemy. However, are we going to hold shift? Their weakness is the shift key. Surprisingly, most of the new designs aren't terrible. Androids shoot their hands, which is a physical projectile that can be shot out of the air. The new drones have weak spots and dodgeable attacks. The cruel are actually interesting. They can block
This
attacks with
looks
their energy shield
terrifying,
until
dude.
it overheats.
How do you even
In the
survive
game's
for
own
a
words,
millisecond?
The black ones don't work. It's genuinely fun, combining
Of
different
course.
gear and strategies to get past their shields. And then you play a mission with a rolling pillbugs, and all that praise goes out the
What
window.
the
I need to make one
fuck?
thing very clear. Cheat engine is no longer optional. I complained about the drop system in 5,
Good.
but
Cheat
now
engine is
it's
always
worse than I could have
amazing
possibly imagined.
to use.
Let me give you a quick rundown. Enemies drop armor
Especially
and
for
weapon
farming
crates. Armor
values.
crates permanently increase max HP by 1. Weapon crates are gacha tokens that give 1 spin of the end of mission reward wheel. These weapons come from a genuinely schizophrenic loot table
Fuck.
based on mission number and difficulty, with a bias towards whatever class you're
Why
playing.
is there a
Getting
loot
duplicates
table?
levels up the star statistic.
make it like
This is
10%
not a
for
small
all the-
bonus. It brings the weapon from borderline useless
And if it
to
dropped,
borderline griefing.
don't
If
drop
you're
any other
operating
weapon.
under the reasonable assumption that difficulty options are purely a matter of taste, EDF will punish you.
25%
If you
more,
play
okay.
the entire game on normal, you'll encounter only 25% of all items. If you want a smooth progression through all of the weapons, playing missions at the developer intended armor and weapon levels, you'll have to play the entire game, and I'm not making this up, 16 times. Every single mission, on every single class, on normal,
Does it
hard,
worth
hardest,
it,
and
though?
Inferno difficulties.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Does it worth it to get all
Or
those
you can use Cheat
weapons?
Engine to multiply the drops by several thousand and play on hard so you only miss half a drop table. And if you're worried about
Good.
cheating diluting your experience, it won't. Every mission has a hard limit on max health and weapon level.
Fuck
this
them.
isn't just
No,
a polite
seriously.
suggestion. I'm
That's
asking you
too
to
many.
cut out
That's
60
too
hours
many
of
for
grind,
unlocks
so
only.
you can find out it makes no difference because you get one shot anyway. I mentioned this game was insane, but it doesn't truly become clear until you shoot it to Time Machine again. You know you're in for a treat when you see the words, "The Earth Defense Force 7 begins now." This is where you realize we're not using time travel to stop ourselves from eating glue. This is a race through time to see who can eat the most glue, us or the aliens. And right now, they're winning because they
Yes!
can send new enemies back in time, but we can only bring our memories back to our bodies in the past. The scientist who travels back with you tries to make use of this, but each time he does, the EDF sends him to the psychiatric ward. He's looped so many times, he's memorized the game's dialogue.
What
I
the
mean,
fuck is
I
this
don't
game
actually know
anymore?
how many times he's looped. He just said he lost count, but the EDF's greatest weakness is numbers, so that's not saying much. When he gets locked up, the title of smartest man in the EDF goes to
Fuck.
Steve, the only man who can count all the way up to 10.
Yeah, and it's number 9. The 9th one out of 10.
Truly, our brightest mind.
Brilliant.
I'd kill for a
Awesome.
meal. I'd even eat a monster at this point.
People smarter than us have already tried.
I believe them, because this is a post-No Child Left Behind universe.
Doesn't
EDF
it?
has a very
That's not how it
particular way of
works.
introducing new enemies.
Just
First,
a smarter
you'll do a normal
doesn't
mission
approach
with
the
normal
enemy
dialogue.
There's dumb luck and there's dumb like ideas. And dumb ideas sometimes work
Then,
too.
near the end, the NPCs
Because they
will
don't think
randomly
of
bring
the
up something
bullshit.
you've never heard before, like,
I would have never
And
believed
the
that demons would
consequences.
rule over the surface 3 years ago.
you're left wondering, is
What?
that a metaphor? Then you go to the
Probably.
next mission and... Oh shit, they weren't kidding.
What
that
the
Cruel
fuck?
is getting prime toppy. The situation
well,
is
there
so
goes
hopeless
that.
that many in the EDF are
I
seeking
love it that you can
God.
drive
Not
them
in a
with much-
religious sense, they are physically looking for God. The possibility
Yes.
of his existence
Where's
gives the
God?
EDF hope. Not hope that he'll save us, but hope that we can beat him to death ourselves.
Oh,
However,
no.
that's not going to work this time, so we really need to
What?
figure out
What?
how to
What
use
the
this
fuck
whole
was
time
that?
travel thing to our advantage. The Earth Defense Force 8 begins now. This time, the scientist managed to avoid the insane asylum and uses his
Which
time
one
traveler
was it
knowledge
at
to
the end of
invent
the
newer
day?
and better weapons for
Which one was it? Oh, this is 6.
the EDF. And then he gives us
And
the
the
plot
first
twist.
fix.
The aliens aren't from another planet. They're from Earth, but millions of years into the future. They're not teleporting in monsters that look like giant ants. They're sending the result of millions of years of ant evolution back in time.
but that
These
doesn't
aliens
loop.
evolved from an Earth where mankind is extinct and the world is ruled by monsters. When they asked, are we alone
Then
in this
why are we
universe,
attacking
they
them?
discovered the ruins of human civilization and went back in time to check us out. When they descended in their egg-shaped ships, early humans mythologized them as gods. However, one of them said, imagine drunk driving one of these, and did exactly that. After finding the ship, humanity realized, oh shit, there's aliens, and formed the Earth Defense Force. If the EDF exists, the world will never be ruled by monsters, and the aliens will never evolve. That single drunk driving incident just time paradoxed the aliens, but they have one last option to stop themselves from getting blipped. They evolve from a world where humanity is extinct, so they just need to make us extinct. Now, you may be thinking, why not just go back and turn Grug
they're recreating the prophecy
into paste, because that would cause another time paradox. If they solve a problem too early, then they never needed to solve the problem, and will never solve the problem. That's why they invade the start of EDF5.
Time travel is not that stupid. if you didn't need the real reason, we didn't need the solution. What the fuck?
It's just after the formation of the EDF, so there's still a reason to go back and invade. All of this means we have a chance. We just have to do well.
If you know you don't need the reason, fucking destroy the reason
for good. This time, we do so well against the aliens that instead of emerging from a bunker into a war zone, you're greeted by an army of advanced soldiers living in a high-tech utopian Wakanda. Then you blow it all up, but despite your efforts, the aliens are still one step ahead. Every loop, they send their evolved ships back into the ring. Turns out these ships carry a log of everything we did during the war, and they go back in time and use that to retroactively win the war. They've been doing this the entire time, but out of everything in this fucking game, they are being subtle about it. At the start of the game, a ring ship appears. Then, in the next mission, everything is destroyed. They didn't just move quickly. They went back and changed the timeline. We can only go back in time by shooting at the ring at a specific time. But if the aliens time travel before then, they can retroactively change the current timeline from one where we have 10 billion civilians to one where we have 500 civilians because of EDF's time travel rules. Every mission takes place in its own temporal pocket dimension. Any attempts to change the timeline take place where we have
to be honest, the Orville, the series The Orville is actually very, very fun. It actually is full of twists too. Just check it out if you haven't.
Civilians. Because of EDF's time travel rules, every mission takes place in its own temporal pocket dimension. Any attempts to change the timeline, past or future, will get queued, and all the queued actions resolve when the mission ends. If we're in mission 50,
this is actually
and you send me back in time to introduce your father to competitive League of Legends, you can watch me leave, and you'll be perfectly fine. Then, on mission 51, you no longer exist because you never existed. Who are you?
Makes
so,
sense.
when a mission ends, the evolved ship's going back in time gets resolved. And in the next mission, you're fucked. The scientist couldn't care less, though. He's got bigger issues at the moment.
So they are actually, the aliens are too big brain,
so well
and we are
in
too
one loop
stupid.
that we can assault the time machine before the evolved ships can go back in time. We're done playing around. It's time to win this thing. The Earth Defense Force 9 begins now. Now, we've gone all the way back to the very beginning of EDF5. This is the payoff for everything we've had to put up with. From the very start, the EDF has giant mechs called Bragas lying around. Why don't they use them? Because they're construction cranes. The EDF doesn't even think to use them as weapons until months later. But this time, you snuck your weapons through the metal detector, so you can save one guy that dies during the tutorial. Turns out, this was the single most important person in the fucking universe. The linchpin that turns the tide of the entire war. This one guy is the only person who knows the code for the Braga elevator. In
my god.
The base gets wiped and they have to fish out the Bragas from the rubble.
Well, that's
this
fucked.
time, they drop the anchors and you hold the line, punching them to death and saving the base from annihilation. Every
so that
mission
explains
in this
the previous time
all
travel.
Your mistakes. These guys got squished by a pylon, but now we can block their convoy so they don't. When the dropships appear in EDF5, you're not allowed to kill them because nobody has ever tried shooting the glowing weak point. But now, as a civilian, you start blasting them out of the sky and get immediately conscripted.
I found a safe place! Behind them!
Hide behind the civilians.
When Godzilla shows up, you waste no time and immediately bring out the Braga to kick his ass. In fact, this timeline goes so well that the EDF has developed their ultimate weapon, Braga with a gun.
Oh my god!
The aliens are throwing everything they have
That
at
is
us.
fucking
It's time for us to use
sexy.
our own trump card.
Look
Another
at
Braga.
that. Okay, that's... I love that.
This is basically the perfect timeline for
Those
us,
look
but
like-
the aliens still managed
like
to send the evolved
viruses.
ships back. If we want to win, we need our own ace in the hole. Luckily, the scientist has one. The EDF's ultimate secret weapon. Coincidence. That's right. Random chance. The aliens have a finite number of evolved ships across every time loop. If 10 go back and we destroy one, then they can only send 9 back in the next loop. So, all we have to do is time loop infinitely and eventually kill every single evolved ship, stopping them from going back in time and wiping our progress, and actually allowing us to gain the upper hand. To communicate this, EDF did the last thing I expected. It got meta. To go back in time and kill the evolved ships, you have to physically go back for your mission select screen. These include the only mission that takes place at night. They can reuse their entire game 3 times, but darkness? Whoa. That's way too disruptive. We can only do that once. After that, you're finally ready to assault the ring. You gather
Dog missions make explosive look so much cooler.
They all die and tell you to run away. Great work, guys. You shoot the ring and it goes horizontal, opening its portal to rain enemies. It's revealed that you're not just fighting one group of aliens from one point in the future.
God, that cat looks
all aliens from every point in the future. They're throwing everything they have at you, but nothing is more effective in the ring because it stuns a player in real life. Then, the final boss.
That thing is officially our enemy.
No shit, what
of
the
course,
fuck?
everything in EDF is big,
It's a
but this thing
Godzilla.
is legitimately too big. It flies outside the skybox, attacks by turning an entire city block blue, and outruns all of your attacks. When you blow its head off, the front opens up, and it's revealed to be Mega God. What the fuck has happened? The time travel rules have either been making sense, or the oxygen deprivation has finally gotten to me. Allow me to explain what's actually going on. We are currently in a time duel to determine who gets time paradoxed out of existence. Humanity or the aliens. The aliens caused the time paradox with that little ship crash, and we caused the time paradox by launching a dirty bomb at Mars to prevent the Cruel from evolving.
How is that a time paradox?
As humanity's champion, and Gigagod as the aliens
Holy
champion.
shit, that looks terrifying.
Gets their entire species time paradoxed out of existence. I'll reiterate, time is a sapient entity which manually resolves paradoxes by handpicking contestants for a deathmatch. This is no longer humanity versus aliens. This is 4 retards versus God's final form.
But in the actual fuck, that looks terrifying to be honest. At least when it was looking at you like a fucking Cyclops. We killed God. EDF.
Remember, aliens, you're no match for the indomitable human spirit. I've met men who could goon for 36 hours straight. I've met stronger men who could flicker goon for 7 seconds. Humanity always has and always will overcome adversity because we have something you don't.
Yes.
Stupidity. And you get nothing. No ending. Goodbye.
Everyone does that. Everyone lives.
Earth Defense Force 6 is a lobotomizing experience where every single
no wonder
design
this
choice
looks a
is
bit
intentionally
ridiculous.
wrong. It's
Too
a sacrificial
ridiculous.
altar where you trade neurons for dopamine, coded by Emperor Hirohito himself. The weapon descriptions
So
are
there's
lies
like
that go
9
wrong with
EDF
primordial
games
brain
now.
rot.
Jesus Christ.
I am the Manchurian Candidate. My MK Ultra activation phrase could be any line of dialogue from this game.
God, I hope it's not mating season.
But I'm not complaining. Coming from a race of people with a history of being fried in DiGiorno easy bake ovens, parting with $60 was a difficult decision, but it was worth it. This
And
is
they're
a series
fucked by
made by
alien
the same
monsters.
5
Oh
guys
my
for the
God.
past 20 years, and I'm cheering them
The
on.
same.
Nonsense is an antidote in a world where
I would have
nothing
put a
makes
mole
sense,
on the
and
last
there's
guy or
value
one of
in
them,
something
just to
that
make it
transcends
slightly
reason.
different.
This is a product of unintelligent design, and I love it. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one. Hey, people.
This was it. Where is the list of members of the Merchants Guild going like a train in the other side, and you like saying some jokes and like a sponsor or something? Oh man, come on. But to be honest, 23 minutes. That was absolutely awesome. To be honest, I thought it's 2. It was 6 through 9. But again, I actually haven't played this game that much. See you all later. Thanks for watching.